Fish, 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 fish.
Can I get a fish sandwich?
Thank you.
Open up number 615.
Opening number 615.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Regal Mystery Movie Review. Today's movie played on July 15th, 2024. And the movie was Sing Sing. Divine G, imprisoned at Sing Sing Penitentiary for a crime he didn't commit, finds purpose by acting in a theater group alongside other incarcerated men. Newcomer Divine I challenges the standards of the group in this stirring true story of resilience, humanity, and the transformative power of art, starring an unforgettable ensemble cast of formerly incarcerated actors.
Rated R.
I wanted to start this review with a little bit of history about the theater program that this film is based on. In 1996, Catherine Watkins founded Rehabilitation through the Arts, or the RTA, at Sing Sing Penitentiary, enabling theater professionals to provide prisoners with a curriculum of year-round theater-related workshops. It has produced several plays at Sing Sing open to prisoners and community guests, and has shown that the use of dramatic techniques leads to a significant improvements in the cognitive behavior of the program's participants, and a reduction in recidivism once paroled. Its impact on social and institutional behavior was formally evaluated by the John Jay College for Criminal Justice, in collaboration with the New York State Department of Corrections, led by Dr. Lorraine Muller, professor of speech and drama at John Jay. The study found that the longer the inmate was in the program, the fewer violations he committed. RTA currently operates at 5 other New York State prisons. The unique thing about this movie is that most of the actors in the film are playing themselves. These are the actual prisoners from the 1990s who participated in the RTA program, and they're playing themselves in the film. This wasn't revealed to the viewers until the very end, and I was genuinely surprised. It must have been so surreal for them to return to Sing Sing after all these years and reenact parts of their youth. It was a kind of authenticity that I haven't seen before. Coleman Domingo plays Divine G, the de facto leader of the theater group. He spends his time writing plays, working on his appeals case, and helping other prisoners with their parole hearings. While Coleman delivers a very strong performance throughout the film, there are some instances where the script just fails to give him anything meaningful to present. Clarence Macklin plays Divine I, which is actually himself. He is a new player in the RTA program. He often dismisses these silly exercises and tries to put on a tough guy demeanor. He struggles to move beyond the hustling lifestyle that got him incarcerated in the first place. Sometimes I felt that the tough guy demeanor that he had kind of crossed over into the goofy and humorous, which I don't think was the intention. It was kind of over the top in some of the scenes. The remaining cast of formerly incarcerated actors gave pretty good performances. They each had their own personality and qualities to help balance the group dynamic. Unfortunately, we only get glimpses into their backgrounds, so we don't really get to know them very well. In the same vein, the audience isn't really shown much of the day-to-day prison life. I understand that the focus of the film is on the theater group and its activities, but sometimes it just kind of felt completely disconnected from the fact that these actors are also incarcerated in a maximum security facility. There are very few scenes outside of the theater. I thought this was a very interesting creative decision, because without seeing these aspects of prison life, it felt like the characters weren't even in prison most of the film. To compound this feeling, a lot of the characters' wardrobes just didn't strike me as appropriate for a maximum security prison. Now this just might be my ignorance of how a maximum security prison functions, but it was just really weird seeing prisoners with jewelry and watches and pens and just all kinds of different wardrobe choices. I guess when I think of maximum security, I think of very strict rules with items that could be used as weapons. That's not to say that there isn't a sense of imprisonment throughout the film. When we are shown the inside of the individual cells, it's filmed in a way that makes it feel very, very small. It's almost claustrophobic. It's the use of close-ups that really help the audience feel like they're inside of that cell. There's one shot of a water tower that's seen through the window bars that really packs an emotional punch. Because even though it's freedom, it's still just out of reach. It was a spot that Divine G went to kind of refocus himself. We were also shown quite a few external shots of the prison, just to kind of remind you that that is where you are. The cinematography of this film is a little bit of a mess. The entire movie is shot on what seems to be handheld cameras. This can create a more grounded and natural viewing experience. Kind of like a guerrilla documentary, which makes sense for a prison film. Unfortunately, I think this effect was way overdone. There were many times when the camera was just shaking all over. It made it much harder to focus on the characters because you felt like you were watching an earthquake happen. There was one scene in particular where a character is walking around the group in a circle. Now the camera does follow him spinning around the circle. And it kind of felt like a weird amusement park ride because the camera is spinning around with him. It stays focused on his face the whole time. But the problem is that the camera is up and down, it's doing wavy things. It's a very just unsettling visual experience. I actually got a little dizzy and almost nauseous from it. There were also some really odd out of focus shots that seemed to take forever to sharpen. I'm not really sure what the point of them was. I didn't think they added anything to the aesthetic. I think a lot of this camera work just detracted from the story. But even with that camera work, the story was actually very solid. The group decided to do a bizarre play that had time travel, pirates, gladiators, and an Egyptian prince looking for his mummy. This helped to kind of create a little bit of levity throughout the film. But for me, these moments of humor always felt a little sad. Like the laughs were all laced with a bitter coating. The jokes felt like attempts by the characters to forget their reality. But I think this helps show how the RTA program acts as a type of therapy as well. It allows the prisoners to work through their emotions and their issues through the art of performing. And I think these little moments of humor really show that. There were a few parts of the story that just moved along a little too slow, almost boring. Some scenes just lingered too long, while others just didn't feel compelling enough to include. Part of me thinks this might have been done on purpose, to kind of parallel the life of an imprisoned individual. It's often boring and repetitive, doing the same daily routines. However, it doesn't really make for a good viewing experience. Maybe there could have been a different or more interesting way of displaying that. Some of the dialogue was a bit too on the nose. At times it felt like the audience was being spoon-fed information. It didn't happen often, but when it did, it was very noticeable. But again, this could just be another creative decision because the prisoners talk to each other very directly. Overall, I think Sing Sing does a great job at explaining and showing how the RTA program works successfully in the prison system. The characters grow and bond while performing. It was a heavy and heartfelt story that opens audiences' eyes to see how rehabilitation can work, even with some of that very shaky camera work. It's too often in society where a stay in prison becomes a defining mark of someone's life. The goal is rehabilitation and reintegration into society. And it's for these reasons that I am giving Sing Sing a liberating 8.5 out of 10. I think the film shows the importance of art and how it can have a healing and therapeutic effect. It's definitely a movie that could teach people about the human experience in prison. So, did you see the Regal mystery movie Sing Sing? If so, tell me all about it in the visitor comment section down below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more genuine and honest reviews just like this. Now, if you don't mind, my audience awaits. Oh!